Hello and welcome again to Silver Gold TV, your one place for all silver and gold related news. Hey guys, I got a playing chess in the background on the bottom, Maximiliano de la Paz, and the one on top is I guess Jane from looks like India. I have that in the background. Just I have anything else to put in the background really, but we gotta talk about something very serious today. What is happening to silver? What is happening to gold? What is happening to the US dollar? What is happening to the Mexican peso? What is happening to the exchange rate? What is happening in the world? There are so many things going on in the world right now when it comes to finances, and the world is just completely blind about it. So I'm gonna touch some topics. I expect you to do your own homework on all this, but you definitely gotta look into some of this stuff. Some of this stuff is getting out of control, and people are still being very complacent about everything. People are not getting ready. People are not prepping, and it's getting to very scary territory, guys. Like it's getting to a point where if you really aren't prepared, if you really ain't ready for what's gonna happen or what's coming, things could get you really bad. I mean, if you thought no paper in the stores was a bad thing, the toilet paper during the early stages of the pandemic, um, you're it's nothing compared to what's potentially gonna happen. All the major retailer stores, they're all preparing for major food disruption, major shortages. There's a lot of grains that get made in Ukraine. The war being prolonged in this way is gonna make that a global shortage. In first world countries like ours, we will benefit from still having some sense of authority in the U.S. dollar, or across the world, so people will sell us their stuff. But there's gonna be great famines. Third world countries that need to sell their stuff just to keep up um with the way they run their government and the needs of their people, they're going to be selling us their stuff at very discount prices, when in reality, if you consider the reality of the value of the dollar, it will be a very discount prices, but we will still get to pay very high prices on it. I know it sounds kind of ridiculous, and it really is. Also, Russia stepped back on their backing of their currency with gold. And I thought that was very strange. I thought there was very something was up right there. They stepped back on it for a couple of weeks, and immediately after they stepped back, within that time frame, they tested a hypersonic missile. I'm guessing the only logical explanation, geopolitical explanation that I could assume happened or is happening, is our government may have put some pressure on them. Besides the sanction, I'm taking some verbal pressure, when it comes to, hey, you do this and we're gonna probably do this, something like that. And at first they were like, oh shoot, right, America. And they decided to step back on their move against the US dollar, because that is actually a move against the US dollar. When you back your currency against anything, people will start trading with your currency, instead of the petrodollar. And that is a big no-no. If you know anything about wars that have been going on in the Middle East, most of them have, in reality, the base reason for them were to protect the petrodollar. I know you don't like to hear about all this, but it is true. It is true. It is facts are facts. And now, then during that week or so, they decided to test one of their hypersonic missiles, and I'm guessing they were waiting to see if America would follow suit and test something. I believe America did not, and because of that, they are now, I guess they remembered that America is not the U.S. of A. once was, and now they're pushing again to to back their currency with gold. So that's that. So that's a big move against the U.S. Dollar. Also, Israel, our biggest and probably only ally in the Middle East, the one that we sold hundreds of thousands of billions of dollars worth of military equipment for them to fight off their enemies, with the Iron Dome defense system, that we were giving them millions of dollars for that. Millions. And we're talking about a ridiculous amount of money that we were giving them so that they could implement their Iron Dome defense system and protect their civilians against their enemies because they are our allies. Well, guess what they just did? They apparently they just backed their currency instead of holding. They're minimizing their holdings in US dollars, and they're maximizing their holdings, or beginning to maximize their holdings, in Chinese yuan. Um and it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like if there was something going on that around the world, and everyone's part of the joke, except we, because apparently the Chinese yuan actually means in Hebrew, Yahweh saves. So why would China name yuan their currency, and Israel now purchasing their currency at alarming rates and getting rid of the US dollars? Yet another move against the US dollar. But this is an ally of ours that's moving against the US dollar. This may very be the first ally of ours that's moving against the US dollar. This is a significant change from having your enemies move against the US dollar. Your enemies are expected to try and move against us. But when your allies start moving against us, that's when things change. That's when things are changing. Another major thing is that I'm wondering about is, I just can't believe that the Chinese yuan is also working majorly with cryptocurrencies to try to get them backed by and now that China is also working close together with their once and for a long time rival, and their rival for a long time has been Russia, and now they're working together. It's a big telltale when it comes to geopolitical changes. Another change that I've been following, and I've been hesitant to speak about because it hits a little bit too close to home, and people do not want to hear about it. I know for a fact people do not want to hear about it. If you don't want to hear about things going on in the Middle East, if you don't want to hear things about going on the other side of the world, you definitely don't want to hear about things going on in our background, in our backyard. Mexico's currency has, for a while now, building has been building up in strength. Usually, historically, it's been at 1 dollar to 10, which it's been there for a very long time. Then something happened that and it went to 1 to 20, and then 1 to 25. But since it came to 1 to 25, it's been coming back and rolling back from there, and it's been gaining power, gaining strength against the U.S. dollar. Something that, if you ask any Hispanic or any Mexican or anyone that knows about finances, knows that when a third world country is gaining strength against a first world country's currency, it's a situation like China, except Mexico has a lot of imports and exports that America has lacked, and they no longer have. So we're looking at a situation where, basically, the way I see it, a lot of countries in the world are moving against the dollar. A lot of countries in the world that are our enemies are definitely moving against the dollar. A lot of countries in the world that are our allies are moving against the dollar. And a lot of countries in the world don't want to show that's blatantly obvious that they are moving against the dollar or that they are ready to move against the dollar. It's, it's at this point all hell's broken loose. That's the way I see it. And the fact that no one's even paying attention, that's what gets me. That's what I have a hard time sleeping with. Cause it's crazy, man. You got to do this for yourself. Got to do this for your people. Got to do this for your families. And if you're not ready when it hits, because it's most definitely gonna hit down. It's like there's no way around it. The boat is heading. You cannot turn the Titanic around at this point. The Titanic's gonna hit the iceberg. At least if you're listening to channels like ours, um, in the community, you know you're gonna hit an iceberg, and hopefully you are prepared for that. But if you're just living your days thinking that gas prices are your only problem going by day to day, then trust me, you're gonna have another thing coming, because gas prices are gonna be the lowest problem in your life when food shortages start happening, and in a first world country that has so many guns, that could lead to for it could lead to desperate people doing desperate things. Subscribe, like, share.